One point of confusion I still see discussed online is whether Tonex Pedal and Tonex software sound the same. I see all sorts of opinions about it, and it's not really a matter of opinion. What is probably happening is if somebody is noticing a gigantic, noticeable difference between Tonex software and Tonex Pedal, it's very likely user error. And what I mean by that is they don't have things set up right. They're maybe not aware of what their settings are on their instrument input, on their audio interface when utilizing Tonex software, or they're not aware of how the whole global input trim works on Tonex Pedal. The thing is, if those settings are identical, if everything else is equal, then Tonex Pedal and Tonex software sound pretty much identical. I've tested this a number of times, but I've never done a real dedicated video that I can remember where I really focused on whether there is a difference between the pedal and the software. And I wanted to do that today, just hopefully to get more information out there that shows that if we have things set up properly, and we should learn how to set them up properly, I have many videos on this in the past, we can rest assured that whatever we dial in on our Tonex software will transfer to our pedal and sound the same. So we're going to discuss that today. First, I'm going to showcase a couple new tone model collections that I have available on my website. I have my Brit 900 double cream tone model collection, which is going to be a set of captures based off of my incredible early 1990s Marshall JCM 900 high gain dual reverb model 4500. Very underrated Marshall amp, sounds killer, and it's going to be captured this time through my Rev amplification 212 Celestion G12 H75 creamback loaded cabinet. And I also took that same cabinet and I ran a nice concise set of captures based off of my incredible Matchless Chieftain amp. These two collections are separate collections, but they do complement each other very nice. I'm going to let you hear those first and foremost out of the mix with P90s, single coils, humbuckers, and then I'll let you later in the video hear them together in the mix so you can really hear what these are all about. I'm going to have everything timestamped at the bottom. This video is going to get quite long because I'm going to be showcasing so many tones. If you want to just jump straight to today's topic about Tonex Pedal versus Tonex software, the timestamps are below. You can jump to whatever part of the video you'd like to hear, but I'd love you to take a listen to some of these new collections, and I hope you enjoy the tones, and I hope you enjoy the discussion today. Links are below to where you can grab all of these collections. So without further ado, let's dive in first to the tone model examples of these new collections, and then we'll get on to today's discussion. So before we get into today's actual topic of whether Tonex Pedal and Tonex software actually sound the same when used properly, I want to showcase two new tone model packs that I have available at my website. Now, links are below. I'll play you full-blown demo videos of these a little later, so you get to hear them in a full mix. First off, I'm doing my Chieftain Double Cream Ultimate Tone Model Collection. Recently got my Vigier Expert Strat style guitar, one of my favorite guitars, back in service. It needed a new volume pot, got that done, and it's ready to roll again, and I just love the way this guitar sounds. So these are both going to be 6 tone model collections ranging from clean, push 1, push 2, OD1, OD3 for the Brit 900, and for the Chieftain Double Cream, we have the clean push 1, push 2, push 3, lead 1, and lead 2, which is going to have it in combination with an Ibanez TS-808 Tube Screamer, which was kind of cool. So starting off with the clean on the bridge pickup on the Strat style guitar. Go to the neck pickup. Was really enjoying the way that sounded. Now, moving on to push 1, which is going to be the next level of breakup. The Matchless Chieftain amp just has a beautiful glassiness to it. It can also get very ratty sounding. Neck pickup. Now this 212 cab is actually the same exact speakers that come in the Chieftain combo, but it's just a 112. So the 212 was really nice. I was liking the fatness that this added to it. Moving on to push 2. Neck pickup. Really loving those tones. Push 3 now. This is starting to get about the most gain you're going to get out of this amp without it starting to get really kind of abrasive sounding. Neck pickup. I also wanted to add in a couple lead type tones with the Tube Screamer just to smooth that tone out a bit. Give a little more variety to the overall tonality of this bundle. And then moving on to lead 2, which is going to be a little more overdrive. Neck pickup. So a beautiful set of tones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to the Brit 900 double cream, take you through those with the Strat style guitar. Then I'll switch out guitars and we'll listen to all of these with some humbucker pickups as well. So here's the clean tone on the Brit 900 double cream, which is going to be the Marshall JCM 900 Model 4500 amp. These two packs really complement each other nice. This is going to give us more of that Marshall tone, whereas that Matchless is probably more leaning towards that Voxy tonality. So here's the clean tone. Bridge pickup. Neck pickup. Moving on to push 1, a little more edge of breakup. Just subtly different from a little bit of a different tonality and driven just a little bit harder. Moving on to push 2. That is back on the bridge pickup. Nice stuff. Moving on to OD1. Neck pickup. Moving on to OD2. Neck pickup. And And finally, OD3. Neck pickup. Again, nice stuff there. So now let's grab some humbucker pickups and we'll run through these tones and I'll switch back over to the Chieftain double cream tones as well. So here I am with my Gibson SG. We'll head back to the clean tones. I'll kind of run through these a little bit quicker. Neck pickup. Moving on to push 1. Neck pickup. Moving on to push 2. Moving on to OD1. Neck pickup. Moving on to OD2. Neck pickup. And finally, OD3. Neck pickup. So some really great tones there. Let's head back over to the Chieftain double cream and go through with some humbucker pickups. So this is the clean tone on the bridge pickup. Neck pickup. All right, moving on to push 1. Neck pickup. Back to the bridge pickup, push 2. Neck pickup. Push 3. Neck pickup. onto the lead tones. Neck pickup. Finally, lead 2 back on the bridge pickup. And finally on the neck pickup. And to keep going with that, let's grab some P90 pickups and listen to both of those collections. Here I have my wonderful little Les Paul Jr., just a single P90 in the bridge. I have my tone control on 10. Here is the clean tone on the Chieftain double cream. Moving on to push 1. Push 2. Really loving these tones with just about any pickup type. Push 3. Moving on to lead 1. With the tube screamer now, change the tonality up a bit. And finally, lead 2. And let's move over quickly to the Brit 900 double cream onto the clean with the P90s. Onto push 1. Moving on to push 2. Moving on to OD1. OD2. And finally, OD3. And there you have all those tones. Sorry about all the noodling. Later in the video, I'm going to play you full-blown demo videos of both of those collections used together in a mix, and I hope you enjoy that. The links are below if you're interested in either of those collections. But now on to the topic of today's video. All right, so on to the topic of today's discussion is going to be whether Tonex Pedal and Tonex software actually sound the same. As I've mentioned, there's been a lot of discussion about this. I get a lot of questions about this, and a lot of folks seem to think that the pedal and the software sound completely different. Now, they shouldn't. If they do, then you're doing something wrong. very likely you're hitting one, either the pedal or the software, with a different amount of instrument input gain, which is accounting for the differences. If everything is dialed in as it should be, they will sound identical. So I'm going to show you this just going back to back today. I've got a bit of a strange routing thing going on. As you can see, I'm recording my voiceover for this track as well. But basically all you need to know is the way that I have this routed is I have Tonex software on this track, Tonex Pedal on this track. I have them combined being summed down to a track so I can edit this into the video later. So you can just ignore that. Basically what's going to happen is when we're in this state here with Tonex software, we're going to be hearing Tonex software. And when I solo out Tonex Pedal, you're going to be hearing that. So software, pedal. So it should be pretty easy to follow. I've just kind of zoomed in here so you don't have to watch anything, scroll on by, or miss anything on screen. So basically right now we're hearing the pedal. When I click this off, we're hearing the software. I volume matched these as close as I can, which will be ultra important because if we're hearing any volume differences between the two, then that's going to account for a lot of the differences. So basically I have Tonex Pedal running into my audio interface. My guitar is sent into a splitter, which is feeding Tonex Pedal, and into my audio interface the exact same signal. And I have Tonex Pedal set to -3 on the input trim. The reason is that is going to be equivalent to where I run my interface, which is when I feed my audio interface instrument input with a 0 dBu signal, I have it set at -11 dBFS. And I've talked about this in previous videos. If I feed a 0 dBu signal into that instrument input, it's going to come in my DAW at -11 dBFS. That's going to be exactly equivalent to when I run my global input on my Tonex Pedal at -3. I'm going to change these up for different scenarios in a minute, but let's just take a listen. So here's a couple chords from the software. So I think you'll agree they sound pretty close. Now, the problem with this way of doing it, flipping back and forth, is that there's going to be little inconsistencies in my playing. We're not hearing the same performance, and that can make people think they're hearing something different. Later in the video, I'm going to do a reamp test. So I'm going to play the exact same short couple chords and go back and forth between pedal and software at the same settings. And that will be a better indication of hearing that they are pretty much exactly the same. Keep in mind also, I am going through a whole other series of A to D and D to A conversions going into the pedal, right? I'm coming into the pedal, it's converting to digital, digital back to analog, out the analog outputs, back into my audio interface, which is converting again to digital. So the software is not getting any of that. So the fact that it's going to be so eerily similar even with all of those conversions is a real testament to how close these actually are. Although I believe the conversion nowadays is so good that any differences from the conversion are almost going to be imperceptible anyways. So now what's the difference if I was somebody who ran my instrument input on my audio interface much higher, or if I ran the input trim on my pedal much higher? So let me do this. I have my pedal here. I'm just going to go into global settings. I know you can't see this. You'll have to take my word for it, but I'm not here for any trickery. I'm going to run this now up at +8, which is going to be where a lot of folks like to run this. So I'm going to have that at +8. Now, if I compare the software to the pedal, they're going to sound completely different. The pedal is going to sound much more saturated because I'm hitting the front end of that tone model with a lot more input signal. Now, just as a side point here, what you're listening to is the tone model that I was showcasing today, one of them anyways, from my new Chieftain Double Cream. It's the Push 2. I have the identical preset on the pedal and playing in the software. So that's very important too. I'm not trying to play any games with that. So now when we listen to the software, we'll hear what we were hearing before. When I switch to the pedal though, do you hear how much more saturated that is? It's not even louder because we're hitting the front of that tone model. It's just saturating more. So you can now see why if somebody has their audio interface set at a different instrument input level than what their global input trim is set in their pedal, we now have an issue. We're going to have the same thing sound different. That is not proof that Tonex Pedal and Tonex software sound different. They sound identical. It's just that we might as well just load up two different tone models and say, well, look, they don't sound the same. It's really the same thing. Now, what's interesting about that is I can actually compensate by boosting that up by 8 by going into my software and actually cranking my gain control. Let's start off by going all the way up to 10. I think that usually gets it closer to the +8 on the input trim. So let's listen to the software now. Much more saturated now, but sounds extremely close to what the pedal is with the +8. So again, this is something a lot of folks don't seem to want to admit, is that this gain control on our tone model is no different than just cranking up the global input trim. So it's very important to know that. But you can really hear it right there, and I think it's really apparent. Now, if I come back in here, turn this gain control back to default. Obviously, we're going to be back at this setting where we're far more saturated on our Tonex pedal because we have the input trim up to +8. Now, what if I was to go up 11 dB? Because remember, I was at -3 on my global input trim. Now I'm at +8. So I've got to boost my input on my instrument input up 11 dB. Let's do that. Okay, so now I've done that. Now the pedal and the software should sound very similar again. I'm really hoping I wasn't actually clipping the instrument input, because I don't usually, and nor would I ever run it that high. But I think you can agree now, and I'm just moving it back down to where I have it normally, I think you'll agree now that they almost sound identical again. So basically, if we come back into the global settings in Tonex Pedal, go to the trim in, bring that back to the -3 setting, which is where this tone model was captured, basically to sound exactly like that. I think you'll notice that they're extremely close yet again. So it just goes, again, I've talked about this so much, but so much misinformation gets spread around in videos that folks do, and I just don't understand because it's not complicated. Couple points to take away. If we have our audio interface set to the same instrument input level as the global input trim on our Tonex pedal, the software version and the pedal will sound identical. The other thing to take away is the gain control, and I've done videos on this before, of our tone model is just another way of controlling the input level that's hitting the tone model. So when we crank this to +10, that's pretty much like cranking that pedal up by about those 11 dB that I went from the -3 on the input trim all the way up to the +8. So that's going to give you a lot of boost, and we can just simply use this gain control to mimic the idea of moving our input trim up. And the nice thing about that is we can save that per preset. So if we want this particular tone model set as one preset with it at 5, and then boost it up we want to kind of boost the front of it, we can do just that and save it as 2 separate presets. So very useful stuff. All right, so there you have it. Now what I would like to do is just play you an A/B of a reamp between Tonex software and Tonex Pedal. Tonex Pedal is on -3 on its input trim. My audio interface is set so that when a 0 dBu signal is sent into the instrument input, that's going to equal -11 dBFS in my DAW. And when both are matched like that, that's going to be equal to one another. And we reamp a track through the software and reamp a track through the pedal. Even though we have that extra, A to D to A conversion involved, they're going to sound, I think you'll agree, almost identical. All right, what did you guys think? I really hope you enjoyed that discussion. I hope that that helps put to bed some of the myths behind the differences between Tonex software and Tonex Pedal, because I do get a lot of questions about it and I see a lot of discussion going on about it. I also hope you enjoyed the tone model collection, and I'd like to play you now the 2 demo videos, one for the JCM 900 Double Cream Ultimate Collection, and then also one for the Cheef-Tan Double Cream Ultimate Collection also, and I hope you enjoy those. All right, so thanks for bearing with me through all of that. I know that was a long video. I do have everything timestamped, as I mentioned before, if you want to jump around to different parts of the video. And I hope you enjoyed that discussion. I hope you enjoyed the tones. The links are below to all of those tone model collections if you're so inclined and want to help support my channel. Thanks so much for sharing your time with me. Please like the video, share it with anybody you think would get some use or enjoyment out of watching it. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the little bell notification to get notified when I put new content out. I'll be back really soon with some more. Thank you guys again so much for sharing your time with me. Ciao for now.